Okay, so we are going to see again more fractional equation. Okay, so example 3, please change the question. So this one, I think I typed something wrongly. Okay, so it's a fraction minus fraction. Okay, if you observe the denominator, they look almost the same. Okay, you realize that the first one got 2 brackets, then the second one got one of the brackets, which is segment 4. Then the one on the right also got one of the brackets. Okay, so anyway, it doesn't change the whole thing. You focus on making same denominator on the left side. So in order to make same denominator, I will multiply 2x plus 1. Okay, so after I do this, I will get same denominator and I can have a single fraction. Okay, so again, I will try to simplify first. Okay, I will show you this strategy that I always do. Okay, in this case, I'm not going to expand out. So when you see brackets, if you observe the denominator is somehow similar, actually, I will not expand out. Okay, I will show you why I wouldn't expand out. So I'm going to go for my cross multiplication. And I'm still not going to expand out. I'm going to go for my cross multiplication. So by right, you should be expanding both sides of the equation. So technically, you should be expanding both sides of the equation. Okay, but if you observe carefully, both sides have a common bracket. So when both sides have a common bracket, of course, please don't go and cancel the bracket. If you cancel the bracket, you will have a missing answer. Okay, so by right, okay, when you have a common bracket like this, okay, I will bring it over. I will bring this whole thing over. And the common bracket that we have just now, I will take it out as a common factor. So the common bracket is actually a common factor. So you take it out, you will be left with this. So it saved me the trouble of factorizing because I kind of factorize out already by taking out the common factor. And then I will have my 2 answers. So I have my 2 answers. Okay, but again, you must observe about the denominator. So think about the denominator not being 0. So denominator cannot be 0. So 2x plus 1, x minus 4 cannot be 0. 2x plus 1 cannot be 0. X cannot be minus half. So this one is a rejected answer, and this is an acceptable answer. Okay, so if you check the other denominator, you're going to get the same thing. You cannot be a 4. The other denominator, so this denominator, 2x plus 1, they are the same thing. So the invalid answer will be minus half and 4. You realize this is a minus half, so you reject that answer. Okay, so this is like how it happens that one of the answers is being rejected. Okay, so in a similar process, I'm going to show you the next one. But the next one will require you to factorize first. So this part needs you to factorize first. After you factorize, you realize that the denominator are somehow similar. It's like x, 2x minus 1, x, 2x minus 1. You still make same denominator. Make same denominator. They simplify. Okay, again, this one I don't want to expand out first because I realize that the denominator is similar. So I'll get a 4x minus plus 1, x, 2x minus 1, 5 over 2x minus 1. So I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply. And I see that both sides have a common bracket. Both sides have a common bracket. So bring everything over. So that you take out that common bracket as a common factor. So that will be the common factor. You end up with two brackets equal to 0. So first bracket equal to 0, you get a half. Second bracket equal to 0, you get a 1. So are the two answers valid? We got to check. You can check the denominator. So if you do a mental check on the denominator, the denominator cannot be 0. So 2x squared minus x cannot be 0. So x cannot be 0. 2x minus 1 cannot be 0. X cannot be half. So one of them is a half, so you need to reject it. Okay, so you can do it this way. Or alternatively, sometimes, right, some people will see that these two, they make same denominator on both sides, and then they compare the numerator. So some people will do that. So it's not exactly wrong. So some of you might feel that this one looks easier. Okay, so if you make both sides same denominator and then eventually compare, you will still get the same answer, but you will only get one answer. You do not need to reject. So most of the time, I'm going for make same denominator and cross multiply, but you do need to know how to reject. So these are the more difficult one. Okay, so I'm going to be erasing this whole thing. Okay, I will show you a longer one where it involves quite a lot of steps, but it is still factorized. It still factorized and it still makes same denominator. Okay, so I'm going to erase everything here so that I can show you a fresh question. So make sure you've gotten everything. Okay, so let me write the space here. So please ignore whatever question here. Okay, I'm just using the space here. Okay, please ignore this. Okay, so the question is like something like this. So if you look, it will be 3 fractions. So it'll be 3 fractions, but I'm still going to make same denominator. But in this case, right, I hope you can realize that this can be factorizable. So if this part can be factorizable, you can think. So if I use this, I will be getting a 1 minus x. I'll be getting a 1 plus x. But if I factorize a negative out, I'll get x plus 1 and an x minus 1. So I'm going to factorize the negative out first. So this one is like the flipping. So I'm going to factorize the negative out. So what is the effect? So if I factorize the negative out, I will get x squared minus 1. The negative will make this, will go to the positive. So in a way, it is like this. Okay, so let me show you. So in a way, I factorize out the negative. The negative and positive will become negative. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to change it to a minus, but it will have become x squared minus 1. Okay, then from there, I'm going to factorize. So I'm still at the factorize stage. Factorize, make same denominator. So you need to multiply something. You need to multiply something to make same denominator. So look at the missing bracket. You will multiply by x plus 1. Here you will multiply by x minus 1. Then you will get all the 3 fractions become same denominator. Then that's where you get a single fraction. You get a single fraction equal to 1. So in this case, I can simplify everything first. So you go and simplify the numerator. Okay, if you simplify the numerator properly, you will get 4x minus 4. The denominator will get x squared minus 1. So when you can do this already, you cross multiply. So you cross multiply. And then it leads you back to a quadratic equation one more time, which you factorize. And first bracket equal to 0. Second bracket equal to 0. So again, you got to check the denominator. The denominator cannot be 0. So x minus 1 cannot be 0. X cannot be 1. Okay, x plus 1 cannot be 0. X cannot be minus 1. Do you realize that this is one of the not valid answer? So you need to reject. And this is the acceptable one. Okay, so it still fall under the category of factorize, make same denominator, then cross multiply, but it just gets quite long. And sometimes, right, you might need to do this trick that you need to factorize out a negative so that it makes the whole factorization and making same denominator a bit easier. Okay, so overall, look at everything, look at a big picture for fractional equation. Factorize, make same denominator, cross multiply. So that will be the 3 procedure.